Muppetvision has been scavenged. Like it was sitting on Tatooine, perhaps. They have had all the props stripped away, and it might be, folks, time to say they're never coming back. We'll explain why it's looking unlikely that Muppetvision is going to return, even to Hollywood studios, even to the Muppet Courtyard. That will be Rock and Roller Coaster, even with a show building right beside Rock and Roller Coaster, and with a villain show in there that's exceedingly unpopular. WDW News Today has this one, Muppetvision 3D reference hidden in the Muppet Show with Sabrina Carpenter. Now the reference is this over here, this left side says Muppet Lab text only. It says a Muppet Lab sign from Muppetvision 3D was recycled for use in the Muppet Show revival special that aired on ABC and Disney Plus this week. You can see it over there on the left. In the Muppets Lab skit of the Muppet Show, a Muppet Lab text only sign is visible on the wall. The prop once hung outside the Muppetvision 3D theater on a staircase unavailable to guests. You can see the sign to the left in our photo below. You can see over there on the left side. All right, so there's that. But also, from Shishigumi, a prop from the now defunct Pizza Rizzo restaurant is featured in the Muppet Show special. Folks, I've looked at this before. It's kind of clever. You can see Big Mean Carl has been winning a lot in the pizza eating contest, Hall of Fame with Pizza Rizzo. And guess what? Yeah, it showed up in the new Muppet Show from Seth Rogen with Sabrina Carpenter. It's on the wall right there. Now, people are making articles about this, and I don't know that it's worthy of an article until you figure this out. What does it mean that these props showed up in the Muppet Show? Does it mean that Seth Rogen is just a huge Muppetvision fan and a Muppet Courtyard fan and just knew that these things would, and they just planned it? They just got to get the Easter eggs in for the Muppets. Or, more cynically, as I so often am, realistically, some would say, does it mean they boxed up all this stuff and put it in a whole bunch of props that then the people at the Muppet Show went through and found what they needed to fill in the gaps? I would suggest the latter. I am now thinking that they actually moved off property away from Disney World, all of the Muppet stuff, and handed it over to the Muppet team in entertainment and said, use it if you need to. We don't need it anymore. And that leaves me thinking that all the stuff from Muppetvision 3D was hauled out of there, and that would mean it's not coming back to Hollywood studios in a theater that they should definitely use to do just that. Oy vey. Ron, we begin with you. Your thoughts on this theory. You think they just loaded it up and took it away and gave it to the Muppets performers?
Some of it, a lot of it was destroyed. My understanding is there are people actually had shots of things like the Miss Piggy fountain getting demolished completely.
Yeah, I know about the fountain. Yeah,
and some of the. I've heard stories of some of the people that were doing the demolition, like laughing about it. I don't know.
Well, that happened at Splash Mountain. We know about the intern at Splash Mountain who was. Yeah. Happily shredding the animatronics in a giant, I forget the name of the thing, but
so, anyway. But as far as the props are concerned, I'm sure that what they probably did is they're like, okay, guys, we got this, blah, blah, blah. You got to save this over here, and we'll put it in these boxes. And the boxes probably got marked and shipped. I don't know if they got shipped to California, whatever. I don't think that
they had time,
they had. I don't think they had any plans of bringing Muppetvision 3D back at all. I know that cannot possibly be in plans. That doesn't necessarily mean that it couldn't potentially happen. But right now, I am 100% sure they have zero plans for it to happen. There's a lot of changes going on. We'll see what happens, but there's a collaboration. People are so confident about Josh tomorrow. And I've said the whole time, I am so scared with Dana Walden being in charge of creative. That is not the right person for that job. And if she kicks Josh to the curb, which she certainly could, she got a bigger salary. then we may have all kinds of unforeseen issues that we don't even know about yet. They always say the grass is greener on the other side, and we were all looking forward to the other side of Bob Iger, but.
I'm never looking forward to the other side of Bob Iger, Ron. I've never thought about Bob Iger and thought I want the other side of him. Here's what I don't understand.
That's a good point.
Josh D'Amaro, there are articles everywhere now after the Muppet Show saying, Josh D'Amaro, he loves the Muppets. Oh, he just loves him a good Muppet, and he wants more of them in the parks. And I'm like, wait a minute. Isn't it under Josh D'Amaro that they took the Muppets away from Liberty Square? Isn't it under Josh D'Amaro that they destroyed the last remaining work of Jim Henson in the parks? His magnum opus, the greatest thing that he had worked on, Muppetvision 3D. Like, I don't understand how they think we're this stupid. And maybe there are just such low IQ people that they realize this is the dude who destroyed so much of the Muppets, but he loves them. Oh, he loves them some Muppets, and he wants them in the parks. What is going on? Why are people believing this?
I don't actually know why they're believing this, because I went to the Wrap article. I read the whole entire thing by Ben Fritz. I'm sorry, it was Drew Taylor. A wonderful article. I went over the, sometimes illustrious history of the Muppets and maybe not so much, right? And how Disney has interacted with them. They didn't say anything about Josh D'Amaro really loving the Muppets and wanting them back into the parks. I think that's a complete misread of that paragraph that actually featured Josh D'Amaro, and it was a very small blip about it. Yes, they are incorporating the Muppets into something like a Rock and Roller Coaster, but their presence in the parks will have been extremely diminished with the demolition and destruction of Muppetvision 3D, and this goes back to this idea that we covered in the Rivers of America video and segment that you have to reduce the costs of these parks and how much it costs to operate, right? What the replacement for whatever will come out of the Muppetvision 3D replacement will be probably largely screen-based, and it won't have nearly the cast members required to actually pull it off, nor the audiomatronics and old school audiomatronics that it took to run that show and maintain and so forth. That's what they're doing right here. And when you look at it through that lens, everything else makes sense. Versus you could have very well kept the Muppets even incorporated into a Monsters Land very, very easily. They didn't want to do that. And this is why a lot of people are like, oh, we're going to get like the People Mover back. Or we're going to get the Muppets over here. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do the other thing. Understand, folks, with Josh D'Amaro as the chairman of the Parks and Resorts or Experiences, we have lost far more than we have ever gained. Why do you think that's going to be different now that he's more removed from the parks than he was before?
This is so strange to be too, Vash. And MJ, I want to come to you in just a second, but
It's true.
Josh D'Amaro comes off as a really nice guy, and people that they want to like him. But he has changed the parks fundamentally in a way that Chapek never even imagined, into this money extrication system that just hoses people, consumption point to consumption point, and he's stripped out so many of the things that people loved in the parks. What do you make of this idea that there's this cognitive dissonance surrounding Josh D'Amaro and who he is and what he does at the parks and what he might do with the company?
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am very skeptical of Josh D'Amaro. I'm not jumping up and down for joy. I'm hoping and I'm being optimistic that he will do the right thing and go in reverse and go back and sit down and maybe read some footnotes that Walt left in his office. But, I am wondering what he meant by bringing more Muppets back into the parks. You've demolished Muppet Courtyard for a film that's over 20 years old now. And then we have the Disney cruise ships that are putting together a Muppet show, which we have no details which cruise line. It's going to be Disney Cruise Line, but which specifically which ship will have the Muppet show on it. And are they going to be taking some props from the Muppet area over at Hollywood Studios? But then again, you have people like Rogan and Carpenter, Sabrina Carpenter, whatever her name is, who are just like, oh yeah, let's just put a Muppet show together. I really don't know what's happening and what's going on. But after handing over, the Muppets to Rogan to do what he wants with them, what do you plan on doing with the Muppets in the parks? Where are you going to put them? What are your plans? Give us something solid to go off on, and then we could have a little bit more hope in you. Like, oh, okay, that's what he wants to do. That sounds good. Nothing. And he's been in charge, and look at what's been happening even under his I can't even put the words together, but with his supervision, he had control over some of these things.
Who's the real Josh D'Amaro, Vash?
I think the real Josh D'Amaro was. It depends on who he's in front of at the time. He will tell you what you want to hear, no matter who you are, and that's what makes Josh D'Amaro somewhat. I mean, I don't think dangerous is the exact right terminology, but that really makes him so effective in doing what he wants to do, right? Because he has done far more than Chapek ever did. What does Josh D'Amaro have that Chapek never had? A great smile and charisma.
Yeah,
he has both those things. And that just allows you to just go way further and farther than Chapek could ever possibly dream of, right? And really kind of alleviate himself from all criticism. Honestly, I mean, think about the D23 Expo. I think it was in 2024, in which they announced the projects related to Muppets or even Rivers of America, right? They never told you where those things were going, and everybody just, clapped and cheered. Oh, we're going to get I think at that time it was just the Monsters Inc. coaster. We're going to get Monstropolis. We're going to get Cars, and they held back specifically on the announcements. Mm-hmm. They were closing Muppetvision 3D and Rivers of America until days or sometimes even weeks later, because we didn't actually know if, in fact, the Muppetvision 3D theater was going to be a victim of these quote-unquote expansions until much later. They knew they were going to do this. Josh D'Amaro knew they were going to do this and specifically held out those details until afterwards. And that's just kind of the scheming going on right there in order to protect public image and yet fulfill these mandates as by these vice presidents or these presidents of these certain parks and resorts who want to both reduce their operating costs and also to maximize on their earnings potential.
Well, now, we were talking about the Muppets possibly going to the Disney Cruise Line, and Mr. Cynic, that's me now. Why would they want to do that? I'd want to replace this too. Folks, just stare at it for a minute, and Maui.
Wait, is that on the right? Is that supposed to be Maui?
That's supposed to be Maui, and on the left is supposed to be Moana. This is a literal image from the Disney Cruise Lines. This is what they've got out for.
How many Polynesian men could audition and really take the role of Maui? I mean, what were they thinking?
What I saw the other night live.
This is why they'd like to have the Muppets, amateur puppeteers to a pre-recorded soundtrack. They'd love that, is because I don't know if you all know it, but it's rough right now when it comes to live entertainment on the cruise ships. Oy vey, you're not welcome.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.